Okay, whatever you are, if you want to avoid an embarrassing beatdown, you better give up now.
I'm the Flash. Speed is my game.
Welcome to Character Compare, where we take two characters and simply judge them to see who's better. Today, we got two of the fastest things alive. Sonic, the world's fastest hedgehog, versus the fastest man alive, the Flash. As usual, this will be a best of 3 out of 5 categories: design, personality, abilities, accomplishments, and the overall fame of the characters. But first, we gotta get a little background on each of these characters. Sega created Sonic for the sole purpose of beating out Mario. And I bet you can't guess what his original name was. Come on, guess. It's Mr. Needlemouse. Yeah, stupid name, right? Probably sounds better in Japanese though. Every part of him was created with an inspiration from a different source. His blue color was to reflect the Sega logo. His shoes are inspired by Michael Jackson's shoes with Santa Claus's coloring. Again, not joking. And his attitude is based off of Bill Clinton's, and I quote, "get it done" attitude. Sonic was an immediate hit, being praised for its vibrant colors, speed, and creating a video game character with real personality. To this day, Sonic is one of the most recognized video game characters of all time. There have been many different men who have taken the name of the Flash, but for this character compare, I will use Wally West, because he's the most used in popular medias. Wally West was created by John Broome and Carmine Infantino to simply be the sidekick of the current Flash, Barry Allen. Back then, he was simply known as Kid Flash. One of the many well-received sidekicks of the time, Wally was used to found the original members of the Teen Titans, with Robin, Aqualad, and Wonder Girl. The Flash is one of the most iconic DC heroes, with the Wally West version currently being ranked number 8 on IGN's Top 100 Heroes list. Here are some guidelines. I am focusing on Sonic games. I will take no information from the TV series or the comic books unless it's a trait that's shared with the video games as well. And in regards to the Flash, I may use clips that aren't technically Wally West, however any feats that I state will be in regards to Wally West. Round 1. Design. Sonic has taken slightly different shapes throughout the years, but most aspects of him have been consistent. His blue coloring, his red and white shoes, white gloves, and of course the way the spikes protrude from his back. He only stands a little above 3 feet tall, and his most recent incarnations of him show him to be very slender with almost stick-like legs. This version of the Flash has sported 2 different outfits. As Kid Flash, his suit was pretty much like the Flash costume with the colors inverted, and his hair actually sticks out of his head. As the Flash, his costume is primarily red with yellow lightning bolts on his arms, by his ears, and down by his boots. His boots are also yellow. His costume is form-fitting, leaving little to the imagination. Both are unique and work quite well for their worlds. However, Sonic's games have been infusing human-like characters in the last few years, and that makes Sonic look really awkward. So, for that point alone, this'll go to the Flash.
Bring home the gold, Hotshot.
Round 2. Personality. Both have personalities that most speedsters have. They are both very confident in their abilities, and that's coupled with arrogance. Sonic is known for being the hedgehog with attitude. So much attitude that he's kind of a dick. What? Leave me alone. I just went to the bathroom. You can wait a couple minutes. Oh, don't act like your life is so important.
I'm out of here!
Oh, now you're just gonna jump off. Fine. Now I gotta start over. Sega officially describes Sonic as being somewhat of a drifter. He doesn't like to stay in one place for very long, and he just wants to find something more interesting to do. He gets very impatient with things that move slowly. He's all about speed. However, he hates oppression and will fight tooth and nail for freedom for all. That's probably why the majority of his games involve some poor creature being taken hostage. But we'll come back to that later. If you watch the Justice League cartoon, you remember what the Flash is like. He was the most lighthearted member of the team. He's the jokester, and many would even consider him to be the baby brother in some context. He jokes a lot to the point that many heroes and villains take him for a joke.
Central City builds statues to this fool, who makes bad jokes, who concerns himself with pitiful men like the Trickster. I don't understand.
But he's also the most generous of the team. He takes the time to learn everyone's name in town. He hangs out with orphans on a regular basis. Hell, he would even chill with his arch-enemies if they would remain civil. However, when the chips are down, he knows when to get serious. He's the one hero that you could never imagine turning evil. I believe this is due to his childhood. He wasn't necessarily abused as a child, but his parents weren't the most supportive of him either, which is something that a lot of people can relate to. Flash is more relatable, and we get a good sense of what drives him to do good. So, round 2, we'll go to the Flash.
Thanks, yo!
Round 3, abilities. Both have super speed. I'm not going to even try to argue who's faster because no matter what I say, there's going to be someone out there who's going to argue that point. But they both also have abilities beyond that. Sonic has his spin attack, which has a few different variations such as the spin dash and the homing attack. Sonic is also the embodiment of chaos, calling forth the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds to create Super Sonic. I know I've seen this before. Where have I seen that before? In this form, Sonic's speed and strength are multiplied by like 1000%. He's gifted with the power of flight, unlimited stamina, he's nearly invincible, and he can even handle the pressures of space. However, this form doesn't last very long. Without a steady stream of rings, this form will eventually fade out. The Flash has a lot more abilities than people think. Like how Sonic is the embodiment of chaos, the Flash is the embodiment of the Speed Force, a vaguely defined extra-dimensional energy that all speedsters can tap into. And unlike most speedsters, Wally is one of the only ones who can't be cut off from the Speed Force. And it's because of this, Wally is considered the most powerful metahumans on the planet. With the Speed Force on his side, he's given a multitude of abilities. Flash is able to lift at least 4 people at a time with relative ease. He can vibrate his molecules to the point that he can pass through solid objects. Likewise, he can also vibrate the molecules of objects to the point that they explode. To his eyes, time can move so slow that objects appear to be at a standstill. He has superhuman endurance, supercharged brain activity, and can heal wounds almost instantly. But there are some powers that people still don't quite know about. With enough momentum, the Flash can punch with the force of a white dwarf star exploding. And because of the Speed Force, he's able to survive the recoil. He could even survive the harsh conditions of space, which is something that's not really been touched on in TV. He can even steal the speed and momentum from other objects and people and add it to other things. And if he focuses enough, he can break the dimensional and time barriers. Oh, and just an added side note, he, as well as all of his loved ones, have decelerated aging. I even skipped a few things, but you get the point. Round 3 goes to the Flash.
Hey guys, how they biting?
Flash! Congrats, man! Good going!
Round 4, Accomplishments. Sonic has defeated Dr. Eggman time and time again.
No, seriously, we beat this guy every time. It's like it's our job or something.
But when Sonic isn't beating Eggman, he's usually beating something that Eggman caused, such as Metal Sonic, Chaos, and the Time Eater. But on a few occasions, Sonic has had to face creatures who more or less are here to destroy everything. And it wasn't Eggman's fault. Like Solaris, who was essentially a god. The Flash has faced a lot of villains repeatedly as well. Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, Mirror Master, I could honestly go on. These guys tend to be lower tier villains just because their ambitions only go as far as money and revenge. Although when the Flash has worked with the Justice League and the Teen Titans, he's taken on world destroyers such as Brainiac, Darkseid, and Trigun, and many more beyond that. On his own, he's faced a couple world conquerors such as Gorilla Grodd, who is easily one of the Flash's most recognized villains. So the way we can look at it is that Sonic primarily fights one guy, with a few occasions where he had to face creatures who could not only destroy the world, but space and time itself. While the Flash has beaten a variety of different villains, though their ambitions fall short, and the ones whose ambitions are greater, the Flash has usually needed the assistance of other heroes. But Sonic handles his bad guys all on his own, even the big ones. Point 4 goes to Sonic.
Boy, talk about cutting it close.
Not really.
That just leaves the overall fame of the characters. Sonic had a few rocky years fairly recently. His games weren't selling nearly as well as they used to until Sonic Colors was released back in 2010. On the other hand, Wally has to deal with the fact that he isn't the only person to be the Flash. In the New 52, which just came out last year, Wally isn't even in it. He's not even Kid Flash in that. Barry Allen is the current Flash, and Bart Allen is the current Kid Flash. Wally has yet to make an appearance. And when I look at top 100 lists, Flash would be higher than Sonic, because the Flash falls at number 8 while Sonic falls at number 10. But that's not a fair comparison because they're on two separate lists. In the end, I have to say that while everyone knows who the Flash is, not everyone knows that Wally West is the Flash. But everyone and their grandma knows who Sonic is. So 0.5 goes to Sonic, but Sonic only has 2 and the Flash has 3, which makes Flash the winner.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, folks. Wow. You've all been so great to me over the years. It really gets to me, you know? Hope I always make you guys proud.
Like what you see? Remember to write in the comments who you would like to see me compare next. Characters from your favorite comic books, video games, and cartoon series coming up against each other. See you next time on Character Compare.
Tell me you're not jealous.
Tell me you're not serious. Why do you need a van? Wait, don't answer that. I don't want to know.
Okay, ask away.
Who are you, and what is happening to your people?
Okay, he says his name is Talks a Lot, and he's from a faraway soda, and where flowers water them with dances.
Yeah, I think your machine still has some bugs.